Welcome back.
Today we are going to make some apple cider and some apple cider jam. Let's get into the ingredients. I am using 8 fairly ripe apples, 2 corkfuls of extract, 2 bay leaf, a few cinnamon, 2 cups of sugar, a handful of clove, and the entire nutmeg. Wash and clean your apple, remove the stem, and you're going to cut to your desired size and place in your cookware. But I am going to cut them in half and then in quarters. And that way they will break down much faster and will cut my cooking time. And we're going to add the spices like the cinnamon and the bay leaf in the pot, but the clove and the nutmeg will be in a pouch, as you're seeing on your screen. So they wouldn't be all over in the pot, all over the place, and hard to remove. And I'm going to lock it tightly, making sure that they don't escape during the boiling process. This is going to cook once it comes to a boil for 3 hours. So we're going to have the fire on high. Once it has come to a boil, we're going to lower the fire and let it cook for 3 hours. So I'm adding my extract, as I mentioned, 2 corkfuls of the extract. You can use fresh orange and the zest. If you're using the extract, you don't really need the zest. All right? And I am just going to add 2 cups. All depends on how sweet you want your apple cider. And I'm going to cover the apple with water. Just covering the apples. We're not going to draw it in a big amount of water. And let it come to a boil. A great tip also to move the process a little faster, you could use hot water to start the cooking process immediately. Well, the boiling process immediately. All right, that's just a quick tip I would like to share. So at this point, my apples are covered in water, but before we continue, so we have started to see some boiling taking place here. So we're going to lower the fire and then we're going to come back again and check it. So at this point, we're basically almost at the home stretch. This is like an hour and a half later. This here is 3 hours later. So I am now going to use my potato masher and I am going to crush this. Now you can, at this point you could put it in a blender. If you don't care to do this, you could put it in a blender. But it's much easier and less dishes to wash at the end of this whole process. So take your potato masher and give it a good mash. Mash it up as much as you can, because you want to get that apple, all those apple flavors into that liquid. And let me just show you the color. At this point, the aroma in this house is really amazing. So we're going to remove the pouch that I have, let it cool, but I want to show you before it cools, just give you a little idea as to the color of what I have. So this is what it looks like. So I am going to continue straining this once the balance of the apple cider is totally cooled. Right? Alright, so at this point my apple cider was cooled to the touch and I strained all of it. And all of the pulp I placed back into the same pot that I boiled it. And then all I'm going to add to this ingredients for the next step of this would be sugar, pepper, and water. But before I get ahead of myself, let's continue with this. This is the end here, properly well strained. You can use a cheesecloth if you so desire or a tea towel. Alright, and this is what my apple cider looks like. It was really nice. Once chilled or not, it was really good. The spices, ooh, mamacita, it was delicious. So this was a really nice drink. A quick reminder.
Click the bell for news.
Now let's get into the jam. We're going to make an apple cider pepper jam. Let's get into the ingredients. For the jam, I added 2.5 cups of the sugar and I added 6 tablespoons of the pepper flakes and water just to barely cover all the ingredients, right? And I am going to let that boil. Plus the apple itself has a lot of liquid, so that also add extra help with the cooking of this jam. So I didn't really need much water. So I will let this jam dry down. This jam you can actually put in a blender if you so desire, but you don't have to. You can leave it with, because some people love their jam with little pieces of whatever type of jam you're making, or some people like a real smooth jam. In this process, I wanted to taste some of the apple in this jam, so I left it. And this is how I made my apple cider pepper jam. And this was how I made my apple cider drink and my apple cider pepper jam. I really hope you enjoy this quick demonstration of this recipe. Thank you all so much for your kind support and your beautiful comments.